Joey Grable giving us the thumbs up. Still thinks he's in business, as do we. Gary Hester.
He's an underdog, though.
He is an underdog. Hester hits the line.
Will it have enough speed? It dies.
Had the line, but not the speed.
How did that die? It died 2 inches short.
So yesterday showed up at this course, and both Gary and Joey noticed that the rock that they typically aim for had either been polished or replaced on this hole. So they're trying to figure it out more than what it was previously.
Rob, I think they should do that more. I think they should move hole locations and kind of mess with these guys' heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see them have to kind of learn on the fly.
Yeah. I have some ideas as well, Rufus. Each hole having different conditions. Mist hole where it's raining nonstop. Fireballs.
Some wind.
There you go.
A fan.
The elements. Play the elements. As Grable looks
he can
to tie
it up.
He can tie it up. 11-1. Just 2 holes ago. They hit it hard. He's giving it a chance. Oh.
It dries up. The back door dries up.
Back door dries up. Those rocks aren't as bouncy, but he'll tap in there. Still in this. He's still in this.
I'm sure he's blaming the new rock. That old rock was a little bouncier, Rob.
It was a little bit bouncier, but we're moving on to hole number 16. We do see the golfers in front of us. They will finish in front of us here at the Aloha course. Beautiful course. Very fun to play. Really, really enjoyed it. Now the pressure's on for these guys. They are good friends. That's one thing that you might notice from watching is they are competing against one another, but they are rooting for each other at all times. They do fist pump one another. Ultimate sign of respect is picking up the ball from the hole for someone else after an ace, which I did for you today, Rufus.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Yes. I saw it happen in WPL number 3, and I would never do that on the actual golf course. I would consider that a sign of disrespect, personally.
That was my thought. I was like, a typical Canadian disrespectful.
But it is actually a respectful move here on the WPL. They're clearing off this hole right now, and we're out there. We got JT Tilley down on the course with Joey Grable and Gary Hester. We're going to see how they're feeling going to these final 3 holes.
All right, guys, here we are. We are at the 16th hole. We're going to take a little bit of break and talk to our champions. I saw some frustration on the face of Joey. At one point, he hit probably the worst putt of the day, probably the week, maybe the year. And then he just stared off into space for about 15 seconds. Tell me, what were you thinking about after you completely blew it in hole 10?
Hole 10. What was I thinking? Why didn't I play the ace shot?
I was kind of wondering that myself. I also noticed, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I noticed the first 2 holes notoriously difficult to ace. And, of course, Gary drops an ace in the second hole. And, of course, you just disgustingly a big deuce on the second hole. What exactly was going through your mind when Gary outperformed you in the first 2 holes?
He got lucky.
That's fascinating. How about this? How about the first 4 holes? You walked off the first 4 holes looking like you were angry with yourself. And I think I heard you say something under your breath and you directed it at Gary. But, of course, Gary didn't hear it at the time. It sounded like you said, bitch.
No.
Okay. I feel strongly about that.
Really discouraged with myself after the first 4 holes. I felt like I played them all pretty good, but I didn't make any of them.
Well, you got I'll be completely honest with you. I was talking to Gary earlier, and I do know that you've got the advantage if you can stay within one swing, because when we get to the 18th hole, I hear you're the man.
Well, I made it 3 of the last 4 times I hit it.
Well, that works, yeah.
So, we'll find out when I get there, hopefully.
Personally, I stay away until 18 with you. I mean, it's personal choices. All right, guys, let's get back to action.
All right, we're going to get back to it here on hole number 16. Some hard-hitting questions there from JT Tilley, trying to get into the minds of our putters. I did notice frustration from Joey Grable as well, so I'm glad he asked him about that, which you typically don't see with him on the course. But when your ball goes out of bounds, it can't be a great feeling.
No, especially when these rocks are supposed to prevent that.
Yes, literally the one spot where the ball can go off the course, and it did.